At the start of my successful 40 kilogram fat loss expedition, there was a change that I had made in my mindset that had I not fixed that specific thing, it would have cost me my 40 kilogram fat loss. And I feel that I have to let you know about this, as it could be the thing that is standing in the way of your successful fat loss. And if you don't fix this one thing, you could be yo-yo dieting for the rest of your life. And that's not something that you want. That yo-yo dieting is the thing that you want to break for your fat loss to be successful over a long period of time. The more I started implementing this change and these specific changes into my plan over time, the more I started seeing fat loss results. And my friends, that is exactly what I want for you. So in this video, I'm going to give you the solution to your problem. And I know this is a big problem for most people that are embarking on a health and fat loss expedition, because over the last 5 years of working with thousands of private coaching members and studying their behaviors, this is the one very specific thing that I've picked up that has been standing in their way of amazing fat loss results. The problem that I'm talking about is your all or nothing mindset. That black and white way of moving forward. You're not allowing yourself any gray areas, no wiggle rooms, there's no flexibility. It's pretty much all or nothing. And that is a massive problem because it's going to ruin your consistency. I know this sounds like a boring topic of conversation, but deep down inside, you and I both know that your lack of flexibility when it comes to your plan and your all or nothing mindset when it comes to hitting those targets perfectly every single day is most likely the thing standing in the way of you executing the plan consistently. The moment I started adding more wiggle room, more gray areas into my plan, the moment I started adding more of a flexible approach, and the moment I shifted that mindset from trying to execute the perfect plan to just executing the plan, that's where my consistency levels started going through the roof, and that is where I started seeing fat loss progress. Let's say, for example, you have one day that doesn't go according to plan, or you have one meal that is higher in calories, or you have one day where you go over your calorie goals, or maybe one day where you don't hit your step targets, or maybe there's one day where you don't go to the gym, or you don't do your planned exercise. What do you do following that? A lot of people, and maybe you included, will stop right there and throw away the next couple of days because in your mind you did not execute the perfect plan, and immediately your mind goes to, well, if I didn't execute the perfect plan on Wednesday, what is the point of proceeding on the Thursday and the Friday? And you let it spiral out of control over into the weekend, and that's where you start thinking, I'll start over again on Monday. And that is the yo-yo dieting cycle that you want to break if you want to get long-term fat loss results. The secret that you are looking for when it comes to breaking that rigid way forward, that all or nothing mindset, especially when it comes to your daily non-negotiables, such as your calorie targets, your water targets, your step targets, any targets that you are working on, is to set up range targets for yourself. I'm first going to explain to you what range targets are, then we'll chat about the benefits of range targets, and thirdly, I'll give you some examples of where you can start implementing range targets into your daily plan to make that plan less rigid so that you can create phenomenal consistency. Range targets can be such a game changer. They were a game changer for me, and I know that it works for many of my private coaching clients too. If you want to be part of my private coaching community, where I not only give you the information, but I'm with you on a daily basis in the community, guiding you and helping you, there's a link in the description that you can go have a look at. The next opening for new members will be on the 30th and the 31st of March. As the private coaching community grows, the spaces do become less and less. Just something to keep in mind. What is range targets and how can they help you with your consistency? Range targets will see you setting up a range for your target. Basically like a sliding scale. You'll have an entry-level goal, then you'll have an optimal goal. And that space between your entry-level goal and your optimal goal, that is your wiggle room. That is your flexibility. That is the area that helps you break that all or nothing mindset. And that is pretty much the benefit of having a range target as well. It's giving you more wiggle room. It's allowing you more flexibility. And it's allowing you to know that you did not fail if you didn't hit your target spot on, because now you have an entry-level target and an optimal target. Let's go through a couple of examples. Firstly, some range targets could be implemented in your calorie targets, your protein targets, your step targets, your water targets, hell, even your sleeping targets. And it works very well for your workout targets. No matter what your choice of workout is, whether it's running or gym workouts. Let's start by having a look at your workout targets. What you currently could be doing is setting yourself a target of 4 workouts per week. Now all of a sudden your boss keeps you late. You can't get around to going to the gym or going for that run. And the week is starting to get away from you. And all of a sudden you see that your workout target is not in reach anymore. If you have that all or nothing mindset or that non-flexible approach, that's oftentimes where you just throw it all away, because if I can't do 4 workouts, what is the point of doing any workouts? But the beauty of having a range target when it comes to your workouts is you could say entry-level amount of workouts for the week is 2. Optimal amount of workouts for the week is 4. If you know you've hit 2 workouts, you can already tick that box. And if it is a struggle to get to the 4th or the optimal amount, and you smash that 3rd workout, that on its own is a win. So you're not giving up when you don't hit 4 workouts, but you are celebrating when you hit 3 workouts. It's important to know that you want to push for the optimal, but if you don't hit the optimal, you have hit your entry-level amount or an amount in the middle. Let's have a look at your calorie range targets, for example. If your calorie goal is 1,600 calories per day and you go over those calories by 100, oftentimes that's where you think you've failed. And then just because you have gone over by 100 calories, you then go over by 1,000 or 2,000 because your mindset is that mindset of an all or nothing mindset. Whereas if you have range targets, you could set your optimal amount as 1,600 calories per day, but then you can set your upper amount to 1,800 calories per day. Now all of a sudden you've got that wiggle room. So if you go over calories by 50, it's not the end of the world. Or if you go over calories by 100, it's not the end of the world because your upper end of the range target is 1,800. And it's the same with your step targets. Instead of aiming for 10,000 steps per day, you can set a range target of 10,000 to 11,000 steps per day. Range targets really help that you remove the pressure of hitting your targets perfectly. And I know many people will be like, oh, there's no point to this video, but I can tell you now, so many people struggle with that all or nothing mindset. And if you don't hit your step targets bang on, oftentimes you feel like there's no point in doing it anymore, or you beat yourself up about it. But if you have range targets for all your different targets, you are giving yourself that flexibility. You are giving yourself that wiggle room. And most importantly, you are giving yourself that space to breathe without placing so much damn pressure on yourself to hit everything perfectly. One thing you have to remember when it comes to your successful health and fat loss expedition is that it's not about what you do on one specific day that is going to make or break your progress. It is about what you do consistently over a long period of time. And you would always need to figure out how can you improve your consistency. And if that all or nothing mindset is the thing that keeps you stopping and starting and stopping and starting, ideally you would start looking at implementing these range targets into your daily plan, into your daily non-negotiables, so that you can stop throwing away a couple of days every single time you go over calories by 50 or 60. Now, I know many of you are maybe sitting there scratching your heads thinking, well, if my calorie range target is more than my actual optimal target, is fat loss still going to take place? I'm going to answer that question with a question. If you keep throwing away a couple of days because you went over calories by 100 or 200 for one day, is that going to help with your fat loss progress? No, it's not. So rather set yourself a range target that you can stick to consistently without wasting days. Most of your calorie deficit amounts are set up to about 25% deficit. So if you set yourself a range target, you would just need to be smart about that range target so that the upper end of your range target still sees you being within a calorie deficit, just most likely a smaller deficit of maybe 15 or 10%. Of course, if you need help with any of that, my private coaching community is the place to be. For your fat loss to be successful, you really need to start working on shifting that mindset from an all or nothing way forward to a more flexible way forward. And by flexible, I don't mean eat absolutely everything that is a fun food on a daily basis. No, you need to be flexible with your approach as you move forward, flexible with your targets as you move forward. And that can be done by adding wiggle room to your targets or to your goals. And again, that can be done by creating those range targets for yourself. And lastly, a bonus tip or a piece of advice that will really help you break that all or nothing mindset along with your range targets is have a look at your weekly averages. Your weekly averages when it comes to your calories consumed, your weekly averages when it comes to your steps taken, your weekly averages when it comes to your sleep or your workout or your water consumption. Because as I mentioned, it's not about what you do on one specific day that is going to make or break your fat loss results, but it's about what you do consistently over time. And you'll see once you start implementing these range targets, your weekly averages are pretty much going to sort themselves out and most likely be pretty close to your actual goal. If you know all of this and you just want a recipe book for some meal inspiration, there's a link in the description of this video where you can purchase my digital recipe book. If you're interested in watching another video and learning even more strategies that you can implement to start seeing fat loss results, YouTube thinks this is the video for you. Of course, so do I.